friends to the meeting with us.
I did.
I like it.
They've all been tested. They're good. They're allowed in my house. All right. So I'm ready whenever, Kyle. Just let me know.
Okay. I think we are good to go.
Okay. Call to order the regular virtual meeting of the Rio Dell City Council. Roll call, please.
Mayor Garnes,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson,
Here.
Councilmember Carter,
Here.
Councilmember Wilson,
Here.
Councilmember Woodall,
Here.
City Manager Knopp,
Here.
Chief of Police Connor,
Here.
Finance Director Dillingham,
Here.
Community Development Director Caldwell, Water Superintendent Jensen,
Here.
Wastewater Superintendent Taylor,
Here.
and City Clerk Dunham's present. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This one. Public presentations. This is the time for persons who wish to address the council on any matter not on this agenda and over which the council has jurisdiction. As such, a dialogue with the council or staff is not allowed under the Ralph M. Brown Act. Items requiring council actions not listed on this agenda may be placed on the next regular agenda for consideration if the council directs, unless a finding is made by at least 2/3 of the council that the item came up after the agenda was posted and is of an urgency nature requiring immediate action. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Are there any hands raised or emails?
Currently, there are no hands raised.
I have no emails either.
Okay. Give it a second just in case. Okay. And is there anyone who would like to remove an item from the consent calendar?
And Mayor Garnes,
Yes.
staff would like to remove item number.
Oh, Kyle, I can't hear you if you're. I couldn't hear anything after the word item.
Sorry, I don't know why it does that. Staff would like to pull item number 2.
Okay.
And we will bring that item back at the next council meeting along with the adjustments for the current year.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any council member or any email or hands raised to remove items 1 or 3? Hearing nothing, I will ask for a motion to approve items 1 and 3 of the consent calendar. We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Johnson. Is there a second?
I'll second, Carter.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Wilson,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodall,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson,
Okay. He said yes, but he's muted. You're muted, Gordon.
okay, and Mayor Garnes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. We will move on to staff reports and communications, page 33 in your packets. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes, members of the council. So I am hoping that we have some good news coming up. The Humboldt County Association of Governments Technical Advisory Committee met, I believe it was on October 7th, to discuss potential grant applications related to various projects all throughout the county of Humboldt, but one of them also from the city of Rio Dell. And that was the 2018 Safe Routes to School grant application. So instead of it coming through Safe Routes to School, the project or a significant portion of it would be potentially is being recommended for STIP funding. So that a potential award of the grant would be approximately $857,000. There would be a small required city match of at least, I believe, around $45,000. I believe on top of that $857,000. So we're going to continue obviously to monitor this situation. It will go before the HCOG board, I believe before the end of the year. So we will be monitoring that and working with the council to make sure that we're advocating for that pot of money. But that particular project would put some additional sidewalks in kind of the central core of town around the elementary school. So Ireland and the streets around it would be finally would at least have one side of the street with sidewalks on it. So we're looking forward to that potential project. I just want to make sure that the council is aware of that and that we will continue to be monitoring that situation. So don't have anything else to highlight, but I will return it to the mayor for questions or comments.
Thank you, City Manager. Mayor Pro Tem.
No questions, Mayor Garnes. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Carter.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Wilson.
No questions.
Thank you. Councilmember Woodall.
None, thank you.
It's a miracle. No one has questions. Okay. Well, thank you. I don't have any questions either. So I think that, but I did want to comment on it's nice to know if you bash your own windshield and you don't get punished. Maybe by your insurance company, but apparently it is not a crime to bash your own car in. So that was interesting little information in the police update. So now we will move on to ordinances, special resolutions. Second reading. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I have to go back and ask, are there any hands raised or emails regarding the staff report? I apologize.
There have been no hands raised.
Okay.
I have no emails.
Thank you. Now we will move on to the second reading by title only and adoption of ordinance number 387-2021, amending section 2.60.030, parens 4 of the Rio Dell Municipal Code, changing the meeting time for the regular planning commission meetings. City Manager, page 41 in your packets.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes and members of the council. As reported at your October 5th, 2021 meeting, the Planning Commission is requesting that their regular monthly meeting time be changed from 6:30 p.m. To 6 p.m. So the Rio Dell Municipal Code needs to be amended accordingly. So specifically, that's section 2.60.3030, subsection 4. And attached to your packet is the proposed language for the recommended revision. With that, staff is recommending that the City Council open the public hearing, receive public input and deliberate, and then approve and adopt ordinance number 387-2021, amending the relevant section of the Rio Dell Municipal Code, changing the Planning Commission's monthly regular meeting time from 6:30 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Thank you, City Manager. I will reach out. Councilmember Woodall, any questions?
No.
Th- Thank you. Councilmember Wilson,
No questions.
Councilmember Carter,
No questions. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
No questions, Mayor Garnes.
Thank you. And I have no questions. So are there any hands raised or emails?
No hands raised.
And no emails received.
Okay. I'll wait for beat, just in case. And I will ask, is there a motion to approve and adopt ordinance number 387-2021, amending section 2.60.030, subsection 4 of the Rio Dell Municipal Code to change the Planning Commission's regularly scheduled meeting time from 6:30 to 6 p.m.
So moved by Johnson.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second, Carter.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Wilson,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodall,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson,
Yes.
Mayor Garnes.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. And we're moving to adopt resolution number 1506-2021, authorizing participation in the California Water and Wastewater Arrearages Payment Program and authorizing the city manager or designee to request funding. Page 45 in your packets, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes, members of the council. I'm going to try to put up a short little PowerPoint here on your screen. Okay. So, 1 second here, my apologies. All right, thank you, Mayor Garnes and members of the council. This item is related to the water shutoff moratorium. Now, the council may recall that over the past couple of years, the state of California has been changing the rules regarding water shutoffs, starting with SB 998, that set certain procedures, payment plans, extended timelines before delinquent water customers, wastewater customers were disconnected from service. So that original legislation was scheduled to go into effect in the early part of 2020. And then obviously COVID occurred. And so in response to the COVID pandemic on March 4th, the governor of California issued Executive Order N42-20, prohibiting the shutoff of water services by water companies, essentially the city of Rio Dell in this case. So on June 11th, 2021, the shutoff was extended to September 30th, and the state allocated American Rescue Plan Act funds for direct payments to water systems to address customer arrearages related to the pandemic. That shutoff was then extended to December 31st, 2021 to allow for implementation of the Water System Arrearages Relief Program. And so applications for the program from the city would be accepted from between October 5th and December 6th of this year. So what is the program? It is the State Water Resources Board has received $985 million to address residential and commercial customer water debt that accrued during the COVID-19 pandemic bill relief period. The State Water Board will oversee the program and make payments directly to community water systems, so directly to the city, for the purpose of fully or partially crediting those delinquent accounts. So the program is the eligibility for the program, again, set by the state of California. And again, this program in reaction to mandates imposed by the state of California, community water systems that have accrued residential and commercial drinking water arrearages between March 4th, 2020 and June 15th, 2021 are eligible to receive assistance through the program. Residential and commercial debt relief for wastewater services may be available later if there is sufficient funding to address drinking water arrearages. And it, at least initially, does sound like there will be some funding available for that. So specifically for Rio Dell, staff has estimated that the city currently has 100 eligible accounts with just over $35,000 in the aggregate in water arrearages. So that does not include wastewater. And so currently, staff also estimates 75 eligible customers with 31,400 in wastewater arrearages. So it's just some additional information for the council's perusal. Outstanding water account amounts. The bar charts on the bars themselves indicate the number of customers, and then at the bottom, you'll see that it delineates a dollar amount. So in this case, on the far left side of the graph, there are 51 accounts that have less than $240 worth of outstanding accounts. On the far opposite end of the graph, there are 4 accounts that have between $1,200 and $1,440 in arrearages. So the guidelines for the program, which are attached to your agenda for water systems that do decide to participate in the program, are the following, which is to waive eligible customer late fees for any arrearages accrued during the COVID-19 pandemic bill relief period, to allocate payments to customer accounts within 60 days of receiving payments, to notify the customers of the amount credited, to offer to enroll customers with remaining debt into a payment plan by direct notification to each customer, and allow customers 30 days to enroll in said payment plan. Again, similar to SB 998, not to discontinue water service until the customer defaults on the payment plan or misses the deadline to enroll in the payment plan. And whether we participate or not in the program, the state has determined that we cannot discontinue water service prior to December 31st, 2021. And then rounding it out, we have to comply, obviously, with all the terms and conditions of the payment and report on the expenditures and customer credits to the state of California. So with that, I will turn it over to Cheryl Dillingham, who I believe is on the line, and see if I missed anything that she wants to fill in on that report.
I think you did an excellent job of covering everything. So I think we could just turn it over for questions.
Okay, so
Okay, thank you. Thank you, City Manager. Thank you, Cheryl. I will put it out to the council for questions. Councilmember Wilson.
Yes, I think I understand the whole bill. My one question was, when someone's late and they owe us money, do we receive that as entered into our books as revenue, even though we did not get the revenue? It's like accounts receivable negative somehow? I'm not sure if I'm asking that question right.
So I think what you're asking is when the financial system issues the bills, it hits the general ledger in the revenue account, and then records an accounts receivable. So right now, these items would be recorded as accounts receivable, but they would have been recognized as revenue.
So then later, do we square that up at the year end or something? Do we say like, we're gonna have, if we weren't getting this payback, or I guess, or relief, would we later have to write that, say that was a debt, say we couldn't collect, and then it would become a negative, I guess, to the, to revenue?
We would reduce the revenue and we would record it as bad debt.
Okay, that's what it is. So that's like with anything that the city has any kind of a similar situation, whether it be I don't know, any other money owed to the city, we go through the same process. Is that correct?
Not necessarily, but all utility billing goes through that process. The utility billing process always records it as revenue and then puts it as an accounts receivable. When we do billing for grants and such, well, actually, yeah, we usually do it mostly that way, and we shore it up. But with grants and such, it's usually exactly on spot.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor Garnes. Cheryl, thank you for the information that you emailed me today. That was helpful. A couple further questions. I know that we don't, or you have not received all of the forms from the state to fill out, but based upon your best guess, does the filling out of papers for the state and sending information to the various account holders, is this going to take a lot of staff time?
So it's an online enrollment system, and I did actually go online and go through all of the screens that you have to fill in, which is when I decided that it needed to come back to the council for approval before we entered into the program. They do give us 3%, which isn't a whole lot of money. They're going to give us the language for the letters, which it looks like they're going to want us to tell the customers that the state has provided this money and send the letters out. So we'll have postage. We've been working on mail merge and such, and the city's pretty good at sending out mailers. We do the the newsletters, and we do all those things. So I suspect that staff time will be greater than the amount of money that the state is reimbursing us, but I would say that the program is probably still a benefit to the citizens of Rio Dell.
Thank you very much. That's all, Mayor Garnes.
Thank you. Councilmember Wilson, Woodall.
Yeah. So the only requirement to qualify for this program is to be behind in your water bill. There's no other requirements?
Correct.
Okay. As a city, can we impose any requirements? Or if we accept this, we just have to go by theirs?
I'm not quite sure how to answer that. From everything I've looked at, I can't tell one way or the other.
Okay, because just bothers me that a lot of people just didn't pay because they knew this was coming, and then there were actually people that couldn't pay, and then there are people out there that could barely pay, making payments, and now we're paying. It bothers me, but I understand how it has to go. Let's see. And with other things that we've done, and they're giving us this money to pay for the water bill for certain people. When we used to try to do things like that, it was considered a gift of public funds because we were benefiting one group of people and not all people. Is there any problem with that?
I will make a stab at this, and then if Kyle wants to chime in. So this money is coming from ARPA. So it's much more of an issue if we're trying to use money from other ratepayers within the water and wastewater system. So, if these bills aren't paid, ultimately the other ratepayers would have to pick it up if this becomes bad debt. But if we were as a city forgiving this and not getting money from the state, it would be passed on to the ratepayers, which you're not allowed to do. But with ARPA funds, which are coming from the feds, it basically is, the intent is to provide relief to people impacted by COVID. And so therefore, the state has determined that this program meets the requirements of the ARPA program.
Okay. And one other question, I couldn't see the PowerPoint, city manager. And at one point you said we can partially credit the bills. Does that mean, what did you mean that we can partially credit the bills?
I believe, and Cheryl, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just if we are not allocated the full, amount.
So at this point, they did a preliminary survey, and they got information from all the water systems about how much arrearages they had for water, and they determined that there were sufficient funds to also fund the wastewater program, but they haven't done a survey of what outstanding bills are for wastewater, so we may not get full funding for that program. That may be a partial, depending. So they would probably prorate it based on the remaining available funding and the requests for the program.
Okay, that's all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Woodall. Councilmember Carter.
No, I do not have any questions. I think I've heard what I need to hear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I agree with, in the same place as Amanda. I think I've heard everything. So are there any hands raised or emails?
No hands raised at the moment.
I do actually have one email, and it's from Stephen Sharon Wolf. And the question they have is, can you tell us how many of the accounts that will be forgiven are residential accounts versus commercial accounts?
Through the mayor, do you want me to answer?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Cheryl, if you have an answer, I would appreciate it because I don't have that answer.
So we have, and these are approximate numbers, but they sound rather exact. I believe we have a total of 98 customers, and of that, I believe 3 were commercial.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that answer. Are there any other emails, or were any hands raised while we were listening to the email?
No new hands are raised.
I don't see any additional emails.
Thank you. Then I will ask for a motion to adopt Resolution 1506-2021, authorizing participation in the California Water and Wastewater Arrearages Payment Program, and authorizing the city manager or designee to request funding.
So moved by Johnson.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second, Carter.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Wilson?
Yes.
Councilmember Woodall?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson?
Yes.
Mayor Garnes?
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. And now we come to council reports. Councilmember Carter.
Thank you. Well, I'm the most excited about we had our first meeting of the Beautification, Walkability, and Pride Committee last Wednesday. It was short because we're just getting to know each other and get our very first homework assignment. And I just want to say thank you if anybody's listening from that committee. And it was just really nice to meet everybody. And I think we have a really good group. So I'm looking forward to our next meeting next week. And that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Johnson? How's Hawaii?
from Maui. Nothing to report, Mayor Garnes.
Okay. Good man.
Absent in body, but present in spirit with you all.
Awesome. We are impressed that you showed. Definitely. Tell Darlene hi. Councilmember Wilson.
Not a lot to report. HWMA is moving forward on the recruitment of an executive director. That's been going on now, just the better part, I think, of 2 years is about how long we've been working at this. They've recruited, I think, 3 different people that have started to respond, and then when they came up here, they decided they didn't want to be up here, and so now they redid the process, and hopefully this time it's going to work. So eventually, I think we're going to have some good news here shortly on that. The other question was a question I had on this meeting on the 26th. Is that an in-house, not a Zoom, but or doing it live at the City Hall?
So I believe that, yes, that one is going to be live in City Hall.
Okay. That's what I read in the way I read it. So thank you. That's all.
Sorry, I was on mute. Councilmember Woodall.
Yes, Councilman Johnson, you need to come home. I got the agenda for the 8 o'clock meeting, and it is a book. I could not believe it. But anyway, and tomorrow at 3 o'clock is the Nuisance Abatement Committee meeting. If anybody would like to call in, you can call City Hall, and they will give you the phone numbers to call in. And I was glad to see that our community service officer got a car, or the minivan. It's going to be much better for picking up the animals. I rode with her one day in a regular car when we had to pick up 2 animals, and it could have been quite a thing. It could be dangerous with the animals. So I was glad to see that she got the car. And that's it.
Thank you, Councilmember Woodall. I have nothing to report. I did my last day as president of the Redwood Empire Division for the League of California Cities, or Cal Cities, was October 7th. And let's see if I can show you. They gave me this lovely clock.
Wow.
With a little plaque on it.
Nice.
That says Deborah Garnes, President, Redwood Empire Division. So anyway, so that's all I have to report. And I think we have come to the end of the meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved by Johnson.
Mayor Pro Tem. Yes.
So moved.
Awesome. Okay, we have a motion and a second.
I'll second, Carter.
Awesome. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care. Have a great time, the rest of your time, Gordon. And we'll see you when you get back. Take care, everybody.
Bye now.
Happy birthday, Kyle.
Thank you. Thank you.